Hello, everyone. Here we are, Sunday, 4 o'clock in the evening. A couple of minutes late. I've been dealing with camera issues. Notice I'm still using the crappy camera. Um, my other camera, I'll get it figured out. This is just like, the second show. Hopefully the microphone works. I'm at least hoping that it works because last time it was like 20 minutes in and somebody said, "Oh, hey, your microphone's not working." And that kind of sucked. But yeah, so here we are. It is June 6th, 77th anniversary of D-Day Normandy. That's something big to talk about. World War II, kind of a big deal. Yeah, hi, Doug. My dogs are here. This is Joey. You can't see him because he's not tall enough to get in front of the camera. And then you got Ruger back here. They are big enough to knock the laptop stand out of the way. But anyway, welcome to the show today. A few things we want to talk about. It seems like California, a federal judge, has ruled that the California assault weapons ban is unconstitutional. That's a pretty big win because, honestly, any weapon that you use to assault somebody is called an assault weapon, whether it's a knife, a stick, a car. Come on. It's just a buzzword to make you be afraid of sport rifles because they look scary. Well, for those of us in the shooting community and those of us that are competition shooters, sports rifles, AR-10, AR-15, any of those types are tools for competition. I have never, I've been a gun owner since my 18th birthday, or 18 when I first bought my first rifle, Ruger. My dog's name is Ruger, one of them at least. And I've never assaulted anybody with a weapon of any type. So, therefore, it can't be an assault weapon. And there goes that other camera that I was talking about. Yeah, tell it to go away. So, yeah, I mean, it's good news for people in California. My son lives in California. In the past year, they've ruled that high-capacity magazines are unconstitutional, which is nice because I got my son he has a Glock 17, and I got some 15-round magazines for him so he can do competition shooting if he ever shows up out here to, shoot with the old man. And now that the federal court has ruled that the California assault weapon ban is unconstitutional, that opens the door for a lot of legitimate gun owners. The 99.998% of gun owners that don't actually commit any crimes with their firearms, the ability to get the firearms they need for whatever purpose they have. Here in Arizona, we're constitutional carry, so we really don't have that problem. We get to carry concealed or open carry without a permit. Now, you do have to have a CCW to carry in certain places, like any place that serves alcohol. You have to have of course, a CCW for that. Like if you go into a restaurant and it's not posted "no firearms allowed," then you can carry as long as you have a CCW. If you don't, then you're breaking the law. There are some other places, of course, that have that same issue. Now, let's look at some of the other things going around the country. San Jose shooting. You notice they didn't really push that to the front of the media because the guy used a couple of pistols instead of an AR-15 or an AK-47. The scary things. So he went in, he killed some people, co-workers, etc., injured some people, and then killed himself. But he didn't use what they consider an assault rifle. So it kind of doesn't fit their media, and so they're not really talking that much about it. The only time that they ever, throw up on the media for, mass shootings or whatnot like that is if they have what they consider an assault rifle. And those of us in the gun community understand that there's no such thing as an assault rifle. Let's see. Future next weekend. Saturday is the June Rio Salado multi-gun match. 3-gun, 2-gun. You can shoot either. I always like to shoot 3-gun because I love my shotgun. And so that's coming up on Saturday. July 4th is my next match. And that is the Independence Day action rifle match. It's an annual match. This will be my 4th time shooting it. Part of the proceeds go to the Phoenix Children's Hospital, which I think is a very good cause. And it's a fun match. I enjoy it. This year it's going to be held at, I believe, Ben Avery Range in North Phoenix. Last year it was held in Casa Grande, and the year before it was held in Casa Grande. Last year it was in Flagstaff. I would have preferred Flagstaff for the temperature difference because it's going to be about 80 up there, whereas down here it's going to be 110 or something like that. But, we get acclimated to the temperature down here pretty good. So those are my next 2 big matches. Hopefully they'll turn out good, and I won't have a problem. Probably going to shoot I may shoot my DB10 Diamondbacks Arms AR-10, I guess you could say. It's a 308 for the rifle match. But from what I understand, the IDARM is only going to be out to 150 yards, so I might as well just shoot 223 because it's cheaper, and I can make more of those. For those of you that are reloader types, I've recently started reloading. What you see here, kind of behind me over here, is the reload bench where I've been working on all my stuff. I've got my wet tumbler, ultrasonic tank for cleaning the brass, my 2 powder. This one right here is for pistol. This one right here is for rifle. This one uses Hogden HF 322 for pistol. No, reverse it. This is CF. It's a Hogden pistol. And this right here is the H322 rifle powder. I've been successful now in loading 9mm, 30-day special, 223, 308, and 45 ACP. I've been putting together a test batch for both 223 and 308, basically doing 1.1 grain increments from the minimum to the maximum. And I'll be taking those to the range and firing those through the chronograph to find out what the best powder load is for these ammo. I actually was at Sportsman's Warehouse in Gilbert today, and they actually had some 4570 bullets for reloading. So I picked up a box of those because those are really hard to find. Unfortunately, I don't have any brass for it, and I still don't have the dies I need to make 4570, but I do own a 4570 and I want to be able to produce that. So I've kind of got that on the back. Gosh, what else is there? Fun things going on. I'm hoping that over the coming weeks, in the next few weeks, I can actually start getting some people to come on the show with me. So it's not me just blathering on about, scooter brass type stuff. Because I'd like to have conversations with people that are 2A supporters, people that are competition shooters. I find it very interesting. The IDARM in July will be my 4th year anniversary for my competition shooting, because that was the first match I did back in 2018 was the IDARM, and that was at Cowtown. And you just don't know what you're doing. You don't know how you're doing until you actually get to shoot at targets from 150 to 200 yards while sitting in a kayak that somebody is rocking back and forth. It's a lot of fun. You should try it sometime. And then what else is there? I mean, it's really hard to do a lot of shooting these days because of the fact that there's an ammo shortage. Getting ammo is hard. Getting the ability to make ammo, primers, powder, that kind of stuff. The brass, the bullets themselves. The brass and the bullets themselves are actually relatively easy to get a hold of compared to powder, but the worst is the primers. I've been looking for 2 months for primers and have not been able to find any available except for, I think MidwayUSA.com has a box of 50 caliber BMG primers for like $300. Who shoots 50 caliber? Very few people. I don't have one. I'd like to have one so it could go into this safe right here, but Mrs. Scooter won't let me get one. I'm getting a look. Actually, they're hard to come by. They're not something that you normally see on the shelf at a gun store. Even my occasionally my sponsor, which is AJI Sporting Goods, they'll have one up on the rack once in a while. Not very often at all. So it's really hard to come by, and they're really expensive. $3,000 to $7,000 depending on the make, model, etc. But yeah, I mean, trying to find the products and everything to actually reload has been a problem. I mean, I've been lucky because we did the Superstition Mountain Mystery 3 gun in March, and I was range officer on stage 9, which was a pistol, shotgun, rifle stage. So one of the cool things is that when you're an RO is that all the ROs on the stage basically gather up all the brass at the end of the match and split it. So you got good range brass, and so you can reload. So I got quite a bit of, probably two 300 308 casings. I probably got about 2,000 223 casings, and I got some 9mm, not a whole lot, but I got some now. And I picked up another. They had when I was at Sportsman Warehouse, they had bags of 250 shell casings that look like they're brand new, non-primed. So I picked up one of those so that I can make some 9mm. But yeah, it's really sketchy out there, folks, trying to get the materials to do competition shooting, to do any kind of real shooting or anything. So I would encourage you to look and shop for deals, because there's a lot of people out there right now that are really jacking up the prices. I mean, big time. One of the reasons why I wanted to start reloading is because who can afford $34.95 for a box of 59mm when it used to be about $12? The only thing I don't reload for is shotgun, just because I don't have the setup for it. I'm not really interested. Shotgun shells you can still, I think, get a hold of, but not a lot. What else was there I wanted to talk about? Let's see, the California thing. So anyone out there listening, if you have shooter friends that are competition shooters, hunters, or whatnot, and you want to come onto the show and be on here with me, and we can have a discussion on whatever, please let me know. I mean, you can send an email to scootersbrass@gmail.com. You can leave a comment on my YouTube channel. You can leave a comment on my Facebook page. Either one is fine. And that way, because I'd like to have more content other than me just sitting here. I mean, you can see my reload station, stuff like that. I also want to get my cameras working right. I forgot to plug the camcorder in, so that's why I'm using the laptop camera, which isn't really that good. As you can tell, it looks like, real small, light. It's fucked up. Gosh. So what I have here behind me, and I don't know if you can see it, this is, if you go to Hodgdon.com, which is HODGDON.com, they have a really good resource database for reloading ammo. So I went through and I actually printed out all the data sheets. Let's see if you can see here. For like, here's my 308 Winchester. It's for a full metal jacket, bullet diameter. It gives you the completed overall length, which means what the length of the shell should be with the bullet in the end. How many grains of powder? So for 308, it recommends between 37 and 40 grains per round, which gives you 37 grains. It gives you 2,508 feet per second velocity. At 40 grains, it's 2,702 feet per second velocity. And I basically printed these out for all the ammo that I print out, 9mm, 38, all that kind of stuff. And I also have here my Hornady Handbook of Cartridge Reloading. This came with my Hornady Lock and Load single stage press that you see in the background here. Right? This book was part of the package, and it goes over all the different ammo sizes, ammo types, anything that you would probably need to make some ammo. And I think I lost my bookmark for my 308. Yeah, it looks like I did. It's probably in there somewhere. There's three. Oh, it's just two. It just dripped down. Okay, put it back up the top. But it gives you the choice to, look at your rounds based on bullet size, weight. So, 110 grain bullets. And you got the dogs out there barking, Mr. Ruger. They do that all the time. Shit happens. I mean, this is our home. So, if the dogs start barking, they start barking. But this is a really good resource. I know you can get this on Amazon, I think. Or you can actually download. They do have at least an Android app for the Hornady handbook, which is pretty useful. It's pretty intuitive. It gives you a lot of it shows you the different manufacturers and types of powder that you can use in your rounds. And so it helps you when you're trying to figure out exactly what type of ammo you're going to make. So I'm pretty fond of that. I've got most of them. I think I've got some Winchester powder, Winchester WSF. And then I have Hornady H322 for rifle. And I've got Hornady, it's like CF something or another. It's a pistol ammo or powder that I use. And I also ordered some Hornady or Hogden long shot, which is really good for most of your pistol types. So now I've got to get another 8 pounds of rifle so that I'm even on the two. And I got to order some more brass. I've got plenty of brass, I think, but I still need to order more bullets. I've been loading 55 grain 223, which you can barely see right here. And I've been loading 150 grain 308. And I've got some 9mm full metal jacket hollow points that I've been loading. And I've got some mistakes that I've made while learning. Because realistically, I've only been reloading for probably about 2 months, if that. And that's been learning how to reload. That hasn't been actually reloading on a full basis. So whenever you start reloading, you're going to make mistakes. It's just inevitable. The downside is that the parts you need to reload right now are at such a premium that if you make mistakes, it's kind of costly. Not so much with the bullets, because you can actually remove the bullets from a bad casing and reuse it. But the primers, those are like gold these days, and it's really hard to get anything like that. Anyway, what else was there that I wanted to talk about today? I feel like I'm just kind of rambling on. Well, I am, but that's just the way I roll. So some of the things that I do when I have 3-gun. One of the first things I did after my first 3-gun was build a gun buggy, because hauling all that stuff around in the desert when it's 100 degrees, 115 degrees outside is really hard. Trust me, it wears on you really quick. So what I did is I went onto Amazon and I got a jogging stroller for like $75. That's basically a 3-wheeled kids stroller for joggers. And I decided to retrofit it. So then I bought some ATV rifle mounts, which you can get also off Amazon. And you bolt it on there so that you can put your rifle and your shotgun pointing down on the actual gun cart. And then you can just basically, I got my gun bag that sits where the kid would sit if there was a kid in there. They're big tires, so they go through pretty much all the terrain that I work with out there at Real Salado, which is mostly sand and gravel. So they're pretty good with that. It's really handy. And it makes moving from stage to stage with carrying all 3 of your firearms, all of your extra ammo, magazines, your gun bag. Out here, we attach a 2-gallon water cooler to the device so that we can take that with us. because you got to stay hydrated out here. It's just the way it is. So that was one of the first things I built. And then if you're going to do competition shooting, you need to get a good belt with attachments. So all of this can be easily found on Amazon. Now, if you're a lot more skilled and have been in it a lot longer than me, then you probably know a lot of the other websites that you could go to find specific types of belts and attachments and magazine holders and holsters and stuff like that. I run a Canik TP9 SFX 9mm. So I went to, I think it was Rocky Mountain Holsters. They actually were one of the first people that actually started making competition holsters for the Canik. So I got that from there. And then I got a magwell for my Canik from Taylor Freelance. Now, Taylor Freelance has a lot of different options and things that you can use for the Canik, especially the TP9 SFX. You can get a magwell for it. It's got extensions for the magazines, so you can extend your magazine 2-3 rounds. I run the I don't run any of the Taylor Freelance magazine extensions on my Canik, but I do run them on my VR80. So I've got 3-round extensions on my VR80, so my 9-round magazines are 12 rounds, which is helpful. What else did I do to modify that? I put a Vortex Venom red dot on my Canik. The Canik comes with plates, like 4 different plates that you can actually mount red dots. They have it all cut out and everything in the back of the gun. It's built specifically for competition or for blind people like me who need red dots because you can't see it, but these are trifocals. And it's really hard for me, especially in a hurry, to be able to catch the right level of my glasses to be able to focus on the sights. So I use a red dot. It makes it a lot easier. And so I got the holster and everything for that. And then I got some double stack magazine carriers for my magazines. I use 20-round mags. It's basically an 18+2 that you get basically stock from Canik. You have to modify it if you use a magwell. Now, the Taylor Freelance mag extensions for the Canik, you don't have to worry about the magwell because they're built with that in mind. The ones that I had to actually modify the end caps and shave them down so they would fit the magwell. Makes it a lot easier to use. The other cool thing about the Canik is it comes with an actual charging handle, so it makes it real easy to ratchet quickly on the run. For 223, or for rifle, I guess you could say, the rifle portion of 3-gun, I'm currently running an Aero Precision M4E1. It is a 223-556 based firearm, specifically built for competition. So it's got the free floating handguard. I changed out the pistol grip for an Luth AR chubby grip, which is what I put on all my firearms if I can put it on there. It's a very comfortable grip, and you can find it on Luth AR's website. They're only made for right-handed, though. So if you're a left-handed shooter, it's not going to do you any good. So I use that, usually a 30-round magazine. I put a Burris MTAC optic on it, so it's a 1.5 by 6 scope, and I've been able to hit on a run 500 yards. Superstition Mountain this last year, I hit 1 for 1 on 2 targets at 504 yards each. No, 514 yards each. IDARM was 504. So it's a good little scope. It's not as pricey as like the Vortex. The Vortex just came out with a 1x10, and it's a really, really good scope. But honestly, I'm not that dedicated of a competition shooter to spend $1,700-$1,800 on a scope. $300 or $400, okay, I'll go there. But $1,700, no, I'm sorry. I'm not good. I'm not that good to be able to justify affording one of those. My Aero Precision, I actually won on the prize table in 2020, which was nice because it gave me a really good competition rifle. I was originally using the Smith & Wesson M&P Sport 2, MP15 Sport 2, which is still a really good rifle. It never failed me. I modified it quite a bit, though. I put a free-floating handguard on it, chubby grip on the back end, good scope, that kind of thing. But yeah, once I got the Aero Precision for competition, I mean, it kind of preceded that one because Aero Precision is made for competition. For standard just rifle matches, if it's long range and stuff like that, like IDARM sometimes is, I have my Diamondback DB10. It's a 308, and that thing's got a lot of punch to it. It's specifically made also for competition. It's got a free-floating handguard. I changed the grip to the Luthe AR Chevy grip because that's just what I do. And then of course, my shotgun, which is the third part of 3-gun, is a Rock Island Armory VR80 12 gauge semi-automatic shotgun. I put a Sightmark red dot on it. It's with a large window because I'm blindish mostly. So it's nice having that big view. It's got like a 2-inch by 1.5-inch view screen on it. It makes a lot of, it's good. So I use either the modified 12-round magazines, the 19-round magazines, or Tooth and Nail came out with a 20-round drum specifically modified to fit the VR80, which works a lot too. But if you have a stage where you're gonna shoot more than 20 rounds, stick with the magazines because they drop out faster. The 20-round drum is hard to get out when you're in a hurry. So if you know you're going to shoot, or you estimate that you're going to shoot less than 20 rounds, go with the drum because it's smaller, it's more compact. Whereas the 19-round magazine sticks out quite a bit, and if you have to go through portals and stuff like that, you get hung up on them. But yeah, I put a chubby grip on that. I took off the crap stock and put on a commercial grade adjustable butt stock. Put a compensator on the front, helps with muzzle lift. So it's pretty good. That's the gear I use, and it's evolved from what I first started with. But I think every 3-gunner, 2-gunner, anybody that's in competition shooting evolves their equipment as they learn more, as they get used to using things, as they see more different things at the range during the competitions. They modify their equipment. It just happens that way. But for the most part, I've really enjoyed my competition shooting, just because of the fact that it really has increased my skills and abilities with my firearms. What's the purpose of having firearms if you don't learn how to use them? If you have a handgun and you keep it under your pillow and you go to the range once or twice a month and shoot it, you're not getting training. You're not getting skills. You're learning how to shoot at a stagnant target at a specific distance. Yeah, I got to the point where I need more than that because honestly, the way things are going in our country these days, it's kind of scary when you see just all the different things that are going. I want to know that I can actually move, hit moving targets, move through targets, switch targets, reload on the run, all that kind of stuff. It's good training. Anybody that's a real responsible gun owner is going to want to train as much as possible so they are responsible and safe with their firearms. So that's what I would recommend to you guys, is that always, whatever you do, always find ways to train. Now, if you're here in Arizona, in the Valley, and you want to actually learn better, I invite you out. You can send me a message on Scooters Brass on Facebook, send me a message on YouTube, email me, scootersbrass@gmail.com. Come out and shoot with me. Come out to the range, actually get into a 3-gun competition because they're open for everybody. You don't have to be a member of the sporting club to actually participate. I think it costs like $2 to $5 more to register. So when I register for a 3-gun, it costs me $20. You would register if you're not a member, and it would cost you $25. You bring your own ammo. It's good skills. There's a lot of experienced shooters out there that will take you under their wing and help you get through it, so you learn how to do it. So you learn how the process is. The first 3-gun match I had was in September of 2018. It's really hot out there, but I went through the safety class, so I had to shoot in the second set of squads, which starts at 11. And that's really hard here in Arizona during the summer because you want to get at the 7 a.m. start time, not the 11 a.m. start time. You're talking about heat, right? So, but there was a guy named Brandon, really good shooter. I think he's with Mesa PD, or he may be State Highway Patrol. I can't remember. But he kind of, they saddled me up with him, and he kind of led me through everything so I could get used to exactly what the process was. It helped a lot. It gave me a lot of insight, and it gave me some ideas. And I didn't finish all 4 stages because of the heat. I wasn't prepared for that kind of thing because on the back 40 out at Rio Salado, there's no shade unless you bring it yourself. But it was a beginning. And so after that, I continued to start. They have a match every month. So Rio Salado has the Black Rifle match, which is the first Saturday of every month. The multi-gun match, which is 2-gun or 3-gun, and that's the second Saturday of every month. And on the third Thursday, they have the PCC Tactical Shotgun match, which is an afternoon match. During the summer months, I guess they don't shoot shotgun. It's just specifically PCC. For those of you that aren't familiar with the term, PCC is pistol cartridge carbine. So it's a 9mm rifle or a 45 rifle or a 40 Smith & Wesson rifle, anywhere between 9mm and 45. And so you're shooting it, it's a rifle, but it's a pistol cartridge. So they have these matches all the time. They also out there, they have Tuesday Night Steel. If you want to get better at your handgun stuff, I would recommend that. There's a lot of things going on out there. I stick to usually to the 2-gun, 3-gun match. Occasionally I'll shoot back black might rifle if I'm preparing for a contest, because it gives me refreshers on long distance, because most of the black rifle is all long distance for the most part. And if you're still in your valley, they also have 3-gun up if you're in the North Valley. Cowtown Range has 3 guns every month, just like Rio Salado does. I think the Phoenix Rod and Gun Club, which is South Phoenix, has matches every month. It's not that difficult to find matches. And the shooting community has always been very helpful to new shooters. Last year, my son and his girlfriend came out, and he had never been in a match before. Since I've been shooting for so long, and I know the match directors and everything, I got us early registration, so all 3 of us could shoot on the same squad. So we had a really good time. They have mentors that actually will help new shooters along through each stage, give you tips and tricks and show you where you're going wrong, will show you what you're doing right. Really, really good. So they were very patient with my son and his girlfriend. We had a good time. They both made it all through the entire match and everything without a problem. It's a little bit warm. But that's the way the shooting community is. The shooting community seems to be the type that wants to see everybody do well, wants to see everybody succeed. Even the people I compete against will give me tips, and I'll let them know when I see something weird or whatever, because it's not necessarily about beating everybody else. It's more about being able to shoot just as well with other people. What was it, 2 months ago they had a team match? So they had a team 3-gun match. I talked about this last weekend. It was the first time I've ever actually shot with a team. And it wasn't really a team because there was only 2 of us, so a third person didn't show up. But it gives you a different perspective on shooting, because you're actually having to coordinate your fire with theirs and your targets with theirs. It's not a bad thing to do. I know they were talking about having another team match sometime this summer, which will be cool. Hopefully I can get in on it. And the guy I shot with that did show up, his name's Heath, and he was really good. A lot better than I am, especially with pistol, because pistol's my weakest. Shotgun's my best. But it was a lot of fun. And that's the thing that people don't seem to understand is competition shooting isn't about going out and shooting, seeing how many targets it's about having fun. If you're not having fun doing it, why the fuck are you going to do it, right? I mean, that's just me. I prefer to enjoy myself, and I've, over the past few years, I've found that it's a lot of fun to go out to the range and actually shoot. And I've noticed that over time, I've gotten better. And that's the point, is it takes time for you to become a better shooter. It doesn't happen overnight. It's taken me 3 years. I'm still not the greatest, that's for sure. I'm not even close. I'm not even in the top 50%. But I see myself moving up a little bit every year. And that's what's important. Hitting targets that I did not hit 2 years ago. This year was the first time at Superstition Mountain I actually hit the 500-yard targets. 2 years before that, I never hit them. I couldn't even reach them because I just didn't know how. So you learn a lot. It's really, really good practice. It's really, really good to teach you how to use your firearms, teach you how to hit targets that you wouldn't normally be able to hit. So I recommend people doing that whenever you can. What else? She's just shrugging her shoulders at me like, It's Sunday. We have to go back to work tomorrow, so we're not really looking forward to it. You know how it is. But yeah, so I mean, I'll go ahead and cut it off short today. Again, I'm going to try to get some people for next week to be on the show. So we have like a little round table, maybe 2 or 3 people with me, or even at least one person with me would be nice, just so I can have an actual 2-person conversation. So you can find me on Facebook, which is Scooters Brass. On Facebook, it's Scooters Brass. On YouTube, I'm on Gunstreamer, so it's Scooters Brass on Gunstreamer. It's pretty much Scooters Brass everywhere. I'm on TikTok, posting little clips here and there on TikTok. So you can find me pretty much. You can email me, scootersbrass@gmail.com. All one word, Scooters Brass. Or you can send messages on Facebook or YouTube or wherever if you have ideas, questions, information, anything that you want to say. We're there. So hope you guys have a good week this week. Try to be safe as well as you can and try to stay out of trouble. And if you can't stay out of trouble, then at least don't get caught. That's pretty much the best thing. So take care, everyone. Thanks for listening in and watching the show today. Hopefully we'll have something a little bit more for you next week. And that's pretty much it. See you next week.